75-mile-per-hour winds, but we are seeing that the pressure is dropping. Only local ones that we're watching right now are in Pinellas and Hillsborough County.
Good morning. I just woke up and got out of the shower, and I'm getting the dogs all ready for the day, and I'm preparing for a hurricane. It is not on my top 10 things to do. Today is mostly going to be about getting ready. I try to get the house as clean as possible. Some of the things I do, the day of the storm or the day before the storm, depending on when it's gonna hit, I clean the bathtub really good and I fill it full of water in case we lose water. That gives us a tub full of bathing water and things like that. I've been to the store, but I will probably have to go back for a few things. Mostly what I have is I have both a grill and a Coleman stove. So I do have some non-perishable, some canned goods, but mostly what I would eat would be out of my refrigerator and freezer. So that it doesn't go bad. Oh, and I fill up 2-liter bottles of soda. We did that last night. I'll show you later. And fill them up with water, as many as we can. And if we happen to lose power, then I spread the bottles of water out between the fridge and the freezer. And that really seems to help keep things cool in there until the electricity comes back on. Or until we can find like another solution. So I'm gonna be doing that today. I have to clean out the garage so that we can get my car in the garage. I don't want it hit by anything. I'm really scared that I'm gonna lose my fence. And this storm, like yesterday, it was kind of like cruising the coast of Florida, and it looked like it was gonna hit a lot further north, like basically not be our problem. Today, it seems like it's gonna be our problem. And like the last few hurricanes that we had here, they basically said like, wasn't really gonna affect us. And then in those last hours or hour, they said otherwise. And it was like, I think the last one I went through, God, I can't even remember the name of it, Matthew, I can't remember. That literally the eye of the storm went over us. So there was that quiet, calm, creepy in the middle of the night. And then the second half of the storm started and it was awful. I am thankful for a few things here in this new house. My old house here had a lot of huge old growth oak trees. And you would actually hear them like smacking the roof all night long. I don't have anything like that, and neither do the neighbors. You know, it's such a new development that we do not have to worry about such things. Yeah, I always make sure, you know, like my guest bedrooms are done. I have a couple air mattresses. A lot of times I'll inflate those like the day of, or, you know, like while the storm's going on, because you never know who is going to have to evacuate out of their home and come stay with you. Maybe you're the one with electricity and somebody else is without. Maybe they lost a portion of their house or all their house, and you're okay. So I try to get the house ready for people, for bodies. It's not fun, but it is something we do every once in a while as Floridians. I'll show you some of what I'm doing later. All right, day 2, people, of getting ready for the hurricane. Everything is in full force today. My parents happen to live on the coast, and I believe they have issued an evacuation warning. Anyway, they are literally on their way home from Maine. They should land in about an hour. And I have a feeling that they're just going to pack up their stuff, put it in the car, and come here instead and spend the hurricane with us. I got the beds ready. Well, mostly ready. So I put together, hang on, I'll show you. That's that IKEA bed that I put together. There's a reason why that thing costs $65. It is cheap. That room is just about done, and it's all cleaned up and dusted and everything. And then this is the room. Sorry, it's a little dark in there. I have my baby gate up, so to keep the dogs out of here. This is I call my parents' room, and the sheets are all clean, ready to go. And then this is their bathroom, and I just finished. I still gotta clean the sink and the mirror and stuff, but other than that, everything's been cleaned and vacuumed and wiped, and so we're gonna do that. In the meantime, you know, you say you're gonna clean and then 10,000 other things happen, or like you start cleaning but like a mess happens. Yeah, this is the rest. Oh, look at that. Isn't that magical? So today, this is what I'm gonna be doing. So this is the morning of the hurricane. It is hitting, I don't know, somewhere between Port Charlotte and Fort Myers. And they're saying we should probably be a Category 1 by the time it makes landfall or makes it to us. But as you can see, water I think is gonna be an issue. I already have standing water in my backyard. Across the street is a farm, so I can kind of gauge how windy it's blowing by those trees across the street. Because we're a new development, we just don't have very many trees. The one good thing is the direction that it's blowing. The house next door is actually sheltering our house. So being out here on the patio is actually very comfortable, not annoying at all. It's you wouldn't even know there's something going on right now. Their house is the exact same house as mine, you know, same floor plan, so the way that the wind's blowing is pretty good. The only thing I'm really concerned about today are my fences. I did buy some emergency fencing this week in case they go, and I told Roger that the second the hurricane's over, I'm gonna be scouring the street for pieces of a white vinyl privacy fence because everybody just leaves them and files a claim, and I don't feel like waiting 6 months to get my fence repaired. I would rather just go and find some pieces and get it fixed right away. So I'm gonna be like garbage picking everybody else's blown away. Let's just hope it doesn't get that far. But so far, this is the standing water. It would have to be quite the flood to encroach on my property. Feet and feet and feet. I don't know how many feet, but I'm not really worried about it. This might take a few days to go away here, but overall, I'm not really worried about water today. I'll check on with you later and we'll see what the difference is with the trees and everything. 2.5 hours later, 10:30 a.m. on Wednesday morning, and we're definitely starting to get some of the rain from like the feeder bands. I know it's kind of hard to tell right now, but it is windy. Yeah, you can see the rain. Windy, rainy. The water in the trench was starting to dissipate, but now is kind of coming back. But still overall, fairly mild conditions. According to the news, we probably won't get the eye until tomorrow afternoon, about 24 hours from now, which really stinks. But it is what it is. 2 p.m. checkup. Definitely blowing a bit more than it was earlier. We're starting to feel the gusts. We're starting to hear them more inside the house. Fortunately, we still have electricity and internet, so we've been following the weather. I feel bad for my friends and family that live in like Englewood, Port Charlotte on the coast, because they are getting it right now. I mean, it is right over their heads and it is scary. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, honestly. We're just getting more consistent wind with some pretty big gusts, but we're still in a more of like a tropical storm situation, and we're just waiting it out. It's nice and cool today. Nothing really exciting. It's dinner time, 5 o'clock, it's getting scary. It probably isn't as impressive, but when the gusts come, it really is quite scary. It's not raining right now though, so it's really good. Oh. Wow. It's like a train. Wish I had a better view for it. Well, this is where this part of the video is going to end, because we lost power shortly after this, around 7 p.m. We sat in the living room for the rest of the night with some lights on, sat around and talked. We listened. You could hear groaning and creaking of the house. There were times that the wind was blowing so hard that it almost sounded like a train, like squeaking metal on metal. It was very eerie, and it was like that all night long. I think the worst got to us around 2 or 3 a.m. and it just was increasingly louder and more stressful. And we probably went to bed, well, it was the middle of the night, maybe 2 o'clock or so, and tried to stay asleep until, early morning. We lucked out. Our neighborhood, my home, we lucked out. I do have to fix my fence a little, although it's still there. It's just crooked. And replace a couple shingles. My whole neighborhood is pretty much like that. I mean, just very minor. But that is not the case for most other places. I went to Port Charlotte to help my mom and dad clean up their property a little bit. Again, they were very minor compared to a lot of what you're seeing here. These oak trees really did a number on a lot of neighborhoods and a lot of towns. They just don't hold up well during hurricanes. There are parts of this mobile home park in Northport that literally look like a bomb just went off and some of the units exploded. All the streets were completely engulfed with just blown metal and aluminum. It was crazy. I did not get any video coverage really of the flooding, but the flooding in certain areas was significant. On the way in from the interstate, I actually saw a pontoon boat attached to the side of a house, and that pontoon boat was about floating 3/4 of the way up this home. So there were areas that still the water has not receded. They're not getting much relief. Town Center Mall in Port Charlotte was absolutely command center for insurance companies, electric companies, line workers, you name it. There was not a place in the parking lot, through the whole circle of the parking lot, that did not have work crews gathered and organized. And it was a pretty impressive and pretty humbling thing to see. Our hearts go out to everybody in Florida who has been affected by this and will continue to be affected by it for months and even years to come. If you are able to donate anything at all, please consider looking into maybe a local charity or Red Cross for donations. This will be going on for a very, very long time.